What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and as most of you all know by now, last night there was a really chaotic situation in Memphis, Tennessee. A guy by the name of Ezekiel Kelly was driving around, live streaming himself attack random people. I believe at the time of this recording, 4 people have been pronounced dead. Others are also injured. I believe there's 6 other people who are injured. I think they're still trying to get to the bottom of everything that took place. We still don't know if there's other people who have been affected that just haven't been found yet. Or maybe some people who have been affected, they thought that someone else was involved in those situations. So right now, it's still unclear as to how many people Ezekiel Kelly attacked, because he claimed on some of his videos that he attacked more people than how many we've seen be reported on so far. But the point, or the reason why I'm making this video, is because yesterday, as this situation was unfolding, I released a video on YouTube, basically just giving everyone a basic idea of what was happening. I didn't share any graphic footage. There is a good bit of graphic footage out there of this dude carrying out these attacks. I purposely did not add any of that footage to my videos. The only thing that we briefly talked about in the video, it was only like a 7-minute video. The only thing we briefly talked about was just giving everyone a rundown of what was happening. And then for a brief second, I touched on the fact that this guy had no business being out of jail in the first place. And I talked about how all of us, regardless of where we lean politically, we need to come together for a common cause, because there's no denying the fact that violent crime is on the uprise. Cities all around America are being affected. It seems like every single day it becomes less safe to step outside our front door. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care what side you're on. We should all be able to agree that we should be able to safely jog through our neighborhoods. That we should be able to go to AutoZone and purchase things for our car without being senselessly attacked by people who have no business being on the streets. In that video, I basically exposed the fact that this dude should have been behind bars, because he was sentenced to 3 years in April of 2021, yet he was already on the streets. And of course, he did what he did. There are 4 people, at least 4 people. I will say even more, because we do know that he was issued a warrant. A warrant was issued for his arrest for first-degree murder yesterday, before he went on this spree. So there's really no telling how many people would still be here today if this dude wasn't released early. And I touched on that in my video. And what did YouTube do? YouTube removed that video. Now, I know that this information about him having a prior history and about him being released from jail early, that's already spread around the internet like wildfire now. But at the time of me releasing my video, this was still new information that it appears YouTube and the powers that be were trying to suppress. They were trying to stop this information from getting out there. Why do I say that? Because they deleted my freaking video. If you've been subscribed to my channel long enough, you know that I cover situations like this all the time. We talked about Uvalde. We talked about the Ethan Crumbly situation when he went and shot his classmates. And even in those situations, I shared footage that was way more sensitive than the footage that I shared yesterday. I shared no footage of anyone getting attacked or anything like that. I simply showed a quick clip of the guy's face, and I released the information about who he was. And for some reason, bam, they took it right off of YouTube. And it's weird because I cover these type of situations, yet my videos are allowed to remain on the platform. Don't get me wrong. Oftentimes when I cover these situations, they demonetize the videos. And they may suppress the videos in the algorithm so you don't get as many views as you would typically get. But they don't just up and erase the entire video off the internet without it giving an explanation, which is what happened yesterday. YouTube didn't tell me anything. I was reading through the comments of a different video when I saw that someone commented and said, hey, they deleted your video. And I was like, no, they didn't. It's still there. It wasn't. They scrubbed it right off the internet. So what was so different about yesterday as opposed to a lot of these other situations that are similar to it? It's because yesterday's attack in Memphis, it doesn't go along with the narrative that they like to spin during these situations. The suspect didn't fit a certain demographic. There wasn't political motivation behind it. Nothing. So the mainstream media didn't want this story really getting out there. And the last thing they wanted was for people to know that this guy had no business being out of jail in the first place. Luckily, a couple of thousand people saw that video. Luckily, other people did their own research and did some digging, and they're exposing this online as well. But it just goes to show how quickly they will remove real information when you're trying to expose something. Over the past few weeks, we have watched YouTube allow people to harass the families of deceased, missing, or once missing teenage girls. YouTube will allow you to sit on this platform and spread misinformation and all type of nonsense. They'll allow you to harass the family of deceased teenagers, but they won't allow you to factually report on news stories before they can. I want you all to understand that if you think someone's really getting down to exposing some stuff on YouTube, and YouTube is allowing it without any pushback, then they ain't hitting on shit. They ain't exposing shit. If you think a creator on this platform is really exposing some big conspiracy, yet they're allowed to sit here and do it on YouTube, they ain't exposing much. Anytime I get to exposing some stuff, my videos get demonetized, they get yanked, they get erased, you name it. Look around YouTube. There's a lot of big creators who have been silenced. They have been deplatformed. They've had their channels demonetized. They've been kicked off of YouTube for exposing things over the past few years, especially during the lockdowns. Look how many people got banned from YouTube, pulled from YouTube, demonetized, you name it, during the lockdowns when they were exposing certain things that our government and the governments around the world did not want out there. If you think someone's really exposing something and YouTube isn't giving them any pushback, then they ain't exposing nothing. Now, I'm not here to say that the video I released last night was some big, top secret, crazy information exposing the underground world of the elites. And oh God, That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it was really a simple video. It blows my mind that it was deleted, but then again, I realize the reality we live in, where factual information gets suppressed if it doesn't go along with certain narratives. But I find it odd that this dude was allowed to live stream himself carrying out these attacks on social media. Yet when you want to talk about the dude carrying out these attacks, when you want to expose some of his criminal background and various things like that, you're not allowed to. So I'm not allowed to really talk to you all about Ezekiel Kelly. Yet Ezekiel Kelly is allowed to live stream himself blasting people in the face. People are allowed to weaponize their fan bases and to use them to harass the families of dead teenagers. But you're not allowed to cover a simple news story while providing factual information before the mainstream media can catch up. I often get criticisms and comments in my comment section or in my DM asking me and telling me, well, why don't you cover real news? Stop with the celebrity drama and Hollywood drama. What about the real news? YouTube doesn't allow me to cover real news. There's a reason why I pivot back and forth between certain things. And I walk the line of, okay, we'll cover some celebrity drama and some news coming out of Hollywood. And okay, we'll cover some true crime and some other stuff as well. It's because YouTube has never been kind to me when it comes to covering stories like this, because the way I cover the stories, it pisses them off, I would assume. Because I am totally against the mainstream narrative when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And you would be too if you did your research, because the mainstream media lies to us about literally everything. Make no mistake about it, if Ezekiel Kelly looked differently, if Ezekiel Kelly voted differently, this story would still be all over the news everywhere. It would be the only thing talked about for weeks. But because Ezekiel Kelly did not fit into their narrative, not only do they not even want to talk about it anymore, they want to stop you from talking about it. Isn't it weird that I've sat here and covered multiple school catastrophes, multiple mass catastrophes, crazy events with people running their cars through parades and blasting people from the top of roof buildings? And those videos weren't removed. But last night my video was removed. The last time I got this much pushback on one of these type of news stories was during the Waukesha Christmas parade, when someone took an SUV and drove it through a crowd of people, killing multiple people. I got a lot of pushback during then as well. I had a video removed during then as well. And when I connect the dots, it's like, okay, I see what type of events you will let me cover and what type of events you won't. As long as these tragic events fit into a certain narrative, I'm allowed to talk about it all day. But if those events don't fit into that narrative, they'll nuke my videos straight off of YouTube. I find it extremely frustrating because I should be able to express myself. You all should be able to express yourselves. And I find it even more frustrating when I look around and see all of the nonsense that YouTube and other social media platforms allow on their platforms. Yet my simple 7-minute video covering a news story with factual information that provided just a tad bit of information that the media didn't want you all to know was just erased. No questions asked, nothing. Nothing at all. No warning, nothing. I just look and my video's gone. But that's the current state of YouTube. And if you all ever wonder, why is he talking about Britney Spears and Johnny Depp and Will Smith? Why isn't he talking about this person who got shot and this person who got killed and this person who got kidnapped? It's because when you approach those stories from a certain angle and you start breaking things down and you use actual common sense, not the fake common sense that some people claim to use, but when you use actual common sense and you're able to word your videos in a way that would bring people together of various different backgrounds, they find it dangerous. Make no mistake about it. I think YouTube finds it extremely dangerous that I'm on this platform and I approach things the way I do. And there's an overall message in a lot of my videos for us to come together despite our differences. They want us to focus on our differences. Me and you, we're very different. We feel different ways about a lot of things. We probably like different things. We probably have different religious, political beliefs. But there's key things that we should agree on. And it seems like any time throughout history, when someone steps forward with a voice that may unite people who wouldn't be united otherwise, they always get silenced. Now, I don't think I'm something big or important or anything like that, but I do view myself as a voice of reason in an otherwise chaotic platform of craziness. And I'm not saying I'm the only voice of reason out there, but voices of reason are always silenced, while the idiots are allowed to scream the loudest. Just remember that. So when you look around you and you feel discouraged by all of the craziness and all of the fake propaganda and fake news, just know there are people out there who aren't like that. It's just they aren't allowed to have a big voice. They aren't allowed to use their voices because they will always be suppressed. YouTube, I am very disappointed in you all. But I'm going to go ahead and end this rant. I want to know how you all feel about this down in the comment section below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.